Well, we got a couple more inches of snow last night, and it's gonna be below freezing all day, so I think it's a good day to work in the shop again. So first thing today, I'm gonna try to finish the cheese press that I was making. So I need to make a template so that we can route a groove in the top of the base. All right, I got our template made. We're gonna use this to route a groove in the base, and that groove is just gonna funnel any of the liquid off the cheese press. It's just gonna funnel it down here and then down the front edge. I can try to go a little bit deeper. All right, we've got our groove routed into the base, and then I've also put a groove here in the front. So all the liquid that comes off the cheese should collect in this groove and then come to the front and drip off right there where you can catch it in a pan. So next thing I want to do is just going to get all these pieces sanded up, and then we'll get them coated, and we are going to coat them. A lot of people told me that the boiled linseed oil, this right here, it is a natural finish, but it is not food safe. Now, even though the cheese is not going to touch this, I would still like it to be food safe if I can. So I've got some butcher block oil, which is basically a mineral oil, to be able to coat this with, and that should protect the wood. So here's what I'm using, cutting board oil. Like I said, it's just food grade mineral oil. Apparently we gotta put it on thick, let it soak in, and then wipe it off in a few minutes. It's gonna make a nice natural finish. Well, it has been a couple hours now, and I'm just wiping off all the excess. I put on like 3 or 4 coats of mineral oil. Has a nice color to it, nice natural color. I also got the top piece that presses down. I got it coated as well. I think the next thing to do is just go ahead and put it together. All right, I've got the cheese press all put together, and I am still missing a couple things. I need 2 springs. At least I plan on putting a 50-pound spring on each side. That way when I tighten this down, I'm actually going to compress a spring instead of just pushing down on this. And as the cheese compresses, that springs will help continually put force on there. But the way I've got this set up, I've got a couple nuts down here to help limit how far this goes down. This is actually the height of the cheese mold, so I can lift up on this, put the cheese mold inside, and then I can set this down and then tighten up the screws on each side, and it will press the cheese. So yeah, I think this is gonna work out good. I could use it the way it is now, but it's definitely gonna work better once I get the springs on here. And once I've used it a few times, I'll cut these rods off, whatever the right length should be. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it all turned out. Now after I put the mineral oil on here, where I had drilled the wrong hole and then I plugged it, you can see that it is very defined now. Where that plug is, so it's noticeable. But overall, I think the routing of the groove, I think that all turned out really good. I think the routing along the edge looks nice. I think overall, I'd give this a, I'd give myself like a B+ at least. All right, well, it's time to check on the animals. And I just remembered that I forgot about the chickens. So yesterday, we've got an automatic chicken door. It opens and closes, in the morning and at night. And yesterday I came out here and the batteries were dead and the chickens were all locked in a coop. And I meant to come out here today and put new batteries in it this morning, but I forgot. So they've been locked in the coop all day. So right there, chicken door's closed. And all the chickens still locked in the coop. So right here's our little chicken door opener. It says low battery, replace soon. And I think it's under this little rubber cover right here. I don't even know if I gave myself enough space to get it out of here. I may have to take this whole thing off to change the batteries. All right, I got unmounted, and that was batteries in the side there. Let's get those changed. Get this mounted back up, then we got to reprogram it. Well, apparently it lost all its programming. I got to recalibrate the open and close on the door. Hi, Scooter. All right, I got the chicken door reprogrammed, and it's supposed to open at 6:30 in the morning, and it's going to close at 5:45 at night. I needed to change the programming anyway because it was still programmed to like close at 9 o'clock at night, like the summertime. And one other thing we got in here is this bulb right here, which is actually off right now. This is a 100-watt bulb, and I've got it attached to a timer right there, and that'll come on, I don't remember, 4 or 5 in the morning, and it's just to give the chickens a little bit more daylight hours. So it's an attempt to try to get them to lay more eggs, because their egg production is definitely related to how many daylight hours there are. Now I'm surprised we haven't lost any chickens, because we've had some kind of critter getting in here. It's emptied out all 3 cat food bowls, and that happens a couple times a week. So we know something's getting in here eating it, and then something has also got up here and it has knocked the lid off the cat food bin, probably eating cat food directly out of here. So whatever's getting in the barn is something that can climb to get up to that food bin. So it's either a raccoon or a possum. Skunks, I don't think skunks really climb. Hello, Ellie. Hello, sheep. You don't have to leave, sheep. I'm just going to do the water. Every night when I fill up the water, you come up here, don't you? Go, Teddy. And just like that, it's dark and the evening is over. Well, I've already ran into a few problems this morning. One, the milking machine for some reason doesn't have much vacuum, much suction, and it barely wanted to work this morning. I'm hoping it has to do with the cold weather, so I'll probably bring it inside and warm it up. And then I screwed up last night draining the hose. Actually got a water hydrant froze up, so I need to grab a heat gun this morning. All right, got a heat gun. And I may need to deal with this today. This is all just like pure ice. All of this concrete's pure ice. So I need to probably get some salt or something out here. See if I can get it taken care of. Also lost one of my bucket lids this morning, which is white. And it blends in all the snow. So I'm not sure exactly where it fell off the side-by-side. Yeah, I screwed up. I was supposed to open up this valve and I shut this valve. So they're both shut when I went to drain it. So none of the water really drained out of the hydrant. It needs to have air be able to go back in it to drain. And so this whole standpipe's frozen. And then my hose, it feels like it's frozen too. And the reason you know it's frozen is because the handle won't budge. It's stuck. No, it doesn't take too much heat. That's the way I should have left it, both open. Oh, she's moving. There we go. Run that for a while to flush all the ice out. Go see if the other end of this garden hose is flowing. Well, the other end of this hose is not flowing. It's obviously full of ice. I'm gonna have to take that into the garage too and get it thawed out. All right. Let's go ahead and I guess grab the milking machine first. Oh, nothing you really want to try to carry around. Ice cold, covered in manure. This is not working. Not working at all. Oh man, freaking cold and really poopy. I washed them off in ice cold water. Now they're just cold. So this milking machine, it has a vacuum pump here and then it has a vacuum gauge, and it's supposed to stay in the green right up here at the top, and it was down here closer to this point 2, somewhere in here, and then as I milked, it just kept on getting lower. So I did check this for leaks. Doesn't appear to have any problems with the hoses or anything. So I'm hoping that it's something to do with maybe ice buildup, something to do with the cold weather, and hopefully it'll come out of it once it warms up. If not, we got a bigger problem. So I'll go ahead and just turn it on. I've got all of the plugs in this. This is shut. Everything is shut. And look, we're up to full pressure now. See, it wasn't doing that outside in the cold. Yeah, the pressure is shooting way up now. I just got to adjust this knob here. All right, now we're holding steady in the green. So it does seem to be from the cold weather. It just seemed like something inside there was frozen. Well, that takes care of the problems I mentioned. I got another problem out here at the pond I need to look at. So down there you can see the pond is frozen pretty good. And then there's a skim of ice that comes all the way, I don't know if you can see the edge, but there's a skim of ice comes all the way this way. And then water is frozen over here as well. The only place that it's not frozen is just right here in the middle. And my aerator is in there and it's supposed to be bubbling, and none of them are bubbling, so the aerator's not working. It's running, but not working. All my valves are open. I don't hear any air leaking. The pop-up valve is closed. Oh yeah, there's hardly any air in there. Boy, it sounds rough too. It doesn't sound right. And then you pop the pop-up valve. Like there's just barely any air pressure in there. So this probably needs rebuilt. I do have a spare aerator pump. I thought this actually went bad like a year ago and I bought an extra one. So I can probably just swap this out and we'll be all right. Somebody emailed me the other day wanting to know what brand I had. And it's a Easy Pro. I couldn't remember what it was. It's Easy Pro. And this is what they call a rocking piston pump type of compressor. And these are made to run continuously, like for 3 to 5 years, something like that. And then you got to rebuild them. So it's probably been that long. And here come the ducks because their food bowls are empty. They're coming up here to get my attention. Now I know some of you are probably wondering why even bother with this aerator in the wintertime. Well, it's to keep the ice from forming over here so that the ducks have somewhere to go for safety. So they're completely free range. They don't get locked up at night. They just stay on the pond at night. And that keeps the predators from getting them. All right, it is on. A lot quieter. Maybe more air, I can't tell. Oh yeah, aerators are on now. It's working, and it's a lot quieter. That's good. A lot quieter. It doesn't vibrate as much as that last one. So you can see the air bubbles coming out right there, and then down there you can see it actually broke open this little film of ice. It broke it open down there where its aerator is. And one over there, and one over there. So what I normally do in the wintertime is I'll take this aerator out here and I'll move it up to where it's about 20 feet from the shoreline, and that'll keep this whole area next to the boat over here. I'll keep that whole area clear, and then the ducks will always have somewhere to swim, but they can still get up on shore to the feed bowls. It works out pretty good. Sounded like this thing had something rattling around on the inside, so let's see if we find anything broken. If not, we can order a rebuild kit. So that's all it has right there is 2 rubber pistons that go up and down. And on the top you got a flapper here with a hole underneath it, and then there's a hole there. I think there's a flapper on the other side, so it allows air to come in this side and air to go out that side. It's kind of like a check valve system. Come out of the way. Oh, look at that. Well, I found out what was rattling. That's supposed to be a 5-bladed fan. It's only got 3 blades on it now. So this was rattling. There's the other side. At least it's got all 5 blades. Hopefully you can see that rocking back and forth. That's why they call it a rocking piston pump. Well, I'll probably go ahead and look for some parts just to see what the rebuild kit costs and what a new fan costs. But man, the way this sounds like it's got a bad bearing. It's probably not even going to be worth trying to rebuild it. cold start there. We'll go ahead and let that warm up. We got to feed out some hay today. I don't know how well you're going to see it in camera, but probably 75% of the ice is melted. Look at that, there's that bucket lid that I dropped earlier today. That was for our first rinse water. So I'm still on last year's hay bales. I think there's 12 left. It's whatever's in this double row right here. So I'll feed hay when it's below freezing, and then I feed out the silage or the haylage bales when it's above freezing. I feel like those haylage bales kind of get frozen. It'd be like eating a popsicle. Oh, I lost it. I had somebody ask why I take the string off last. That's because I'd have hay all the way down the driveway. Once you pull these strings off of here, this first layer is gonna want to start falling off. All right, these 7 sheep, this will take them probably close to a month to eat this bale. So now I'm gonna start the next woodworking project. I need to build some shelves to go in this bathroom closet. There's really nothing in there. We just store tall items. You know, you can store brooms, vacuums. There's a ladder. I think there's a ladder. So you can see there's a ladder stored in here right now. But we want to get some shelves in there so we can store our bathroom towels in here, our medicine, extra toilet paper, all of those kind of things. Because a lot of those items we're storing in here in the pantry is somewhat overflowing. We want to free up a little bit of space. The pantry is sort of our catch-all. It stores everything that doesn't fit anywhere else. You know, like extra pots and pans, stuff for cheese making, stuff for canning. Of course, our medicine is in there. All the medication, all our veterinary stuff for the animals, it's all stored in there. So building these shelves will definitely free up a little bit of space. So I went out in the barn the other night and I grabbed 4 of these. This is tongue and groove pine siding left over from our log cabin build. This is roughly 11, 12 inches wide, pretty big, but still not big enough. I need our shelves to be 16 inches wide or deep. And so we're gonna have to cut these down, glue some together. So let's go ahead and get started. right, I've got my boards cut out and I've got them in matched sets to be able to glue together. And considering I had to cut these down anyway to make 16 inches, I was able to remove quite a few of the knots. And when you look at this, it's fairly clear. There's only a couple small knots in each one of these. So now I just need to go ahead and get these gluing together. There you guys go. So I did get all 3 shelves gluing together in the shop. And once that's dry, I can cut it down to the final dimensions, get it sanded and stained. And you know, it'll take a few more days and then I can start putting that in the closet. That's a fairly quick project to do. I'd rather just tackle that one and just get it knocked out and done. But with this cold weather, I'm definitely gonna just continue working on shop projects. The next few steps, you know, like the staining and the polyurethaning, a lot of that takes time. Like you're gonna wait like 24 hours in between. So while a lot of that's going on, I may switch back over to fabrication and may end up starting to make some feed troughs or start making the panels that go in this fence line feeder. So that's probably what I'll end up kind of focusing on next. But I think for today, once I get this water trough filled up and make sure everything's fine out here, I think I'm gonna call it a night. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I'll see you next time.